Thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and join us for a comprehensive coverage of every single one of the LEGO 2024 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive items. From minifigures to posters to pins and badges, this video will cover how you could get each exclusive, what days you needed to be there to get what, and even a little bit of the quantities in terms of what I know to determine exactly how rare all of these items are. Of course, we probably do have to start though with the elephant in the room. No, sadly, this was not an exclusive giveaway. This was actually the outfit that people working at the LEGO booth, since it was themed around LEGO space, were wearing. Thankfully, due to an incredibly difficult and artful skill that I like to call begging, I was able to receive a copy of one of the outfits sized perfectly to myself right as they were closing up the booth, because they pretty much were saying they had a few extras and they didn't really know what was going to happen to them. So first of all, thank you so much to the folks over at the LEGO booth for gifting me this specialized outfit. But without further ado, we should jump in to the exclusives of LEGO San Diego Comic-Con 2024. And yes, there was one, well, technically three exclusive minifigures. Although I will say, they are nothing like these, and we'll discuss these and why we don't really get these anymore either. So let's get into it. So before we jump into the 2024 exclusives, I really do want to address, why doesn't LEGO do the types of exclusives they used to do? In prior years of San Diego Comic-Con, we would get not only exclusive sets, we would get early access to new sets, but we also, and maybe most importantly, would get a series of exclusive minifigures, usually taking the form of DC or Marvel exclusives, but also touching other themes like Bionicles, Stranger Things, or the LEGO Movie. Now, the reason why LEGO doesn't do these anymore is a little complicated, and that reason honestly isn't public knowledge. I don't think we're ever going to have the full picture as to why LEGO doesn't do it, but from trying to talk to folks working at the panel to other folks who have been working with LEGO for years and years, I was able to piece together some sort of a picture as to why I think LEGO doesn't do these anymore. First of all, LEGO is historically not super pleased with how most of these exclusives end up on the secondhand aftermarket. How folks would be able to pick up an exclusive minifigure at Comic-Con and then flip it for upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 per figure, especially if you're talking about the really rare ones. LEGO obviously wants these to get in the hands of collectors or kids or people who are truly passionate about them, not people just trying to make a quick buck, or most importantly, not scalpers. However, that hasn't really stopped LEGO in the past from making several exclusive items in many other ways. So why not more Comic-Con figures? Well, I actually got to connect with one of the people behind pretty much every old Comic-Con exclusive. Since even the days of 2004, when we were getting Bionicle exclusive sets, he was involved in some capacity in most of the Comic-Con releases before transitioning to a different role in LEGO. Thankfully, he was there in person, so I kind of just got a chance to pick his brain, and he had mentioned that he's not really sure exactly why they stopped, but he's pretty sure it is due to just simply a logistics issue. As you see, once COVID hit, LEGO was kind of scrambling to figure out a way to distribute the minifigures they had already put into production for Comic-Con in different venues, some of those being DC fandoms, some of them being PS5 exclusives, but ever since that, they kind of stopped making exclusive sets and minifigures because they really just had a big reshuffling internally at LEGO when it comes to making event exclusives. Does it mean that LEGO will never make them again? No, and he was actually pretty optimistic that once LEGO figures it out, they're probably going to offer some sort of exclusive that is a lot more in-depth than the ones that we got this year at some point in the future. It just probably isn't a high priority for LEGO because it's really just something special they do for an event, and frankly, people are going to go visit the LEGO booth anyway, so it's not really a high priority for LEGO to continue to make super exclusive sets or minifigures for something like Comic-Con. So while we haven't gotten any superhero exclusive minifigures since COVID, we have been getting a couple of unique exclusive items at Comic-Con here and there for the past few years, such as the Brickbuster video minifigure torso, which was given out in bulk at last year's Comic-Con, the very exclusive Ninjago Baby Dragon Ryu, which I believe was only given out either during a meet and greet or during the Ninjago panel, as well as just other stuff like action comic torsos given out at prior Comic-Cons. This year is no different. There is an exclusive Comic-Con minifigure this year, but it actually might be one of the rarest LEGO Comic-Con figures maybe ever made, and we'll get into that in a little bit because I have a bit of a sense as to how many of them exist, and it's not a lot. So without further ado, let's jump into things and take a look at every single one of the LEGO Comic-Con 2024 exclusive pieces. So let's recap all of the exclusives for LEGO San Diego Comic-Con. Most of the exclusives are admittedly pieces of paper, posters, comics, you name it, they are all different exclusive prints given out during Comic-Con events. And as such, most of these items were specifically exclusive to only one day or only one event. And we'll start with those because they're the easiest to explain. There were actually two different LEGO booths happening at the same event this year, which is one of the first times they've done it. There was the general LEGO booth themed around space, and there was another LEGO booth themed around LEGO Marvel, which is actually the first time they've done it, and of course, my friend Jonathan, aka Mini Superheroes Today, was literally over the moon about the Marvel panel. Now here's how the exclusives worked. If you lined up at the Marvel panel, scanned a QR code to mark your place in line, and posed with the brick-built Wolverine claws, you would receive a free comic issue for each of the individual days of the event. On Thursday, it was a Spider-Man No Way Home comic. On Friday, it was an X-Men comic colored purple. On Saturday, there was an X-Men gold-colored comic. And on Sunday, there was a black and white X-Men comic, which is probably one of the rarest ones because most people are basically just checked out by Sunday and probably wouldn't have lined up for the fourth time just to get it. Altogether, these are basically just individual random comics. They have nothing to do with LEGO. The comic contents inside are actually just regular X-Men and Spider-Man comics, but they are special variant covers with LEGO branding because they were given out at the LEGO Marvel booth. Alongside each comic, you would also receive a Wolverine pin. However, this is not actually a LEGO Wolverine pin. It was part of the just general Marvel giveaways they were doing. You had to collect all these individual pins from different parts of the Marvel booth, such as the Marvel Strike video game, or showing up in a cosplay outfit, or getting the Deadpool Dogpool pin from the day after the movie aired. So you could get pins during most of the different days, but since it was given away during the LEGO giveaways and they were packaged together with the comics, I figured I would at least give it a mention, even though it technically isn't a LEGO item. On eBay right now, it looks like these comics are selling for around $30 to $40 US, and I would imagine their value to settle at around that much because while they are Comic-Con exclusives, almost everybody who took the time to line up at the Marvel Comic-Con booth got one, so they're not super special, and we know for a fact that quite a lot of them were left over, so I would imagine folks on Sunday were probably taking home stacks and stacks of them. Sadly, we were not so lucky because we had to catch our flights. Moving on to the next giveaway, we're maybe kind of ramping up in rarity here. We have a movie poster for the brand new LEGO movie, the Pharrell Williams Piece by Piece movie, which is coming out, I believe, later this year or even next year. This is a poster that is pretty much the same poster that was revealed online, and the only way to get it was if you went to the LEGO booth on Saturday or Sunday, so again, it was only given out during half of the Comic-Con days, and they basically would just give it to you for free. By Sunday, as I was walking around, I realized that they probably were left with way too much stock because they basically were calling people over to give it to them, and again, as such, I can't imagine this being worth more than maybe $30 to $40 on eBay. Moving up from that, we actually start getting into a lot more rare items, and the rarity of these items just kind of exponentially increases, and I'm going to cover the rarest one last because it arguably is the most interesting one. So the first thing here is that there was a LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising panel, as well as a signing event by the cast and crew. The folks in attendance were Sabrina Petra, the voice of Sora, Devin Mack, the voice of Aaron, as well as the two writers and showrunners, Kevin Burke and Doc Wyatt. This is all going to be talked about in my later vlog about Comic-Con, but they were kind enough to actually grab dinner with me after the event, so I really got to pick their brains about everything Ninjago. But at that signing event, they were giving away an exclusive signed Ninjago Dragons Rising poster. This is featuring preliminary concept artwork for the latest season of Ninjago Dragons Rising, and all four of the people in attendance signed it, which means it's actually probably rarer to find a copy of this not signed than it is to find one signed. Because this was literally only given out during the one signing event and not even I could get my hands on another copy, believe me, I asked and I was literally brought out by LEGO and they wouldn't give me another one. This is one of the rarest pieces of paper, I guess, given away on the entire event, and I have seen sold copies of this listing sell for upwards of $300 to $400 on eBay, and I'd imagine the value would probably settle at around that much. Even rarer than this though was a special LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy poster. Now, the really interesting thing about this one is that there technically were two different types of posters given away. There was one that featured Jedi Bob that was the more general release poster, which unfortunately I didn't actually get my hands on because I was asking them to sign different items, which is a long story and we're going to cover that in the actual vlog. But long story short, I got my hands on a Jedi Bob Starfighter and Dark Falcon early after spending all of my day trying to find one to get it signed, so instead of getting the poster signed, I decided to just get that signed and have them sign the actual built sets. So I don't actually have the poster myself, but there was a Jedi Bob poster that was given away that was signed by pretty much every single person who was there, both writers of LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, as well as Bobby Moynihan, who you may know from SNL, who plays Jedi Bob, plus, which was a total surprise, Tony Revolori, who plays Darth Dev in the LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy special, but who you may recognize as playing Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man Homecoming series, which was super cool to actually meet him, and Jonathan literally had a copy of the No Way Home comic on him that he was able to get signed, which was super, super cool, and probably is the only one in existence that's actually signed. However, there was another style of poster that was actually included in a prize sweepstakes. This was actually given to me by the folks over at the LEGO booth, so thank you so much for giving me this, and it is pretty much just the poster, all black with the stars that says Rebuild the Galaxy with all the signatures. I haven't seen copies of this one pop up online that are separate from a prize pack, and we'll talk about this prize pack later on, so it's really hard to estimate the value of just this, but I'm very grateful I was able to get a copy, and it's definitely something I'm going to be treasuring, because of course I only have one copy in existence. And then moving on from that, we have yet another panel and signing poster, which actually I can speak to great length about because I was actually involved in this. You see, I was brought out to San Diego Comic-Con 2024 to celebrate LEGO Masters, and because of that, I hosted a LEGO Masters panel, but we also got a chance to do a LEGO Masters signing, where myself, Jamie, the Brickmaster and LEGO designer, as well as Crystal, winner of LEGO Masters Australia versus the World, as well as the LEGO Masters Holiday Special, were all in attendance to do signings. Rob May, the executive producer of LEGO Masters, as well as Brent Benedetti, who creates all of the challenges for LEGO Masters, were also on hand, and very awesome people, although I'm not really sure if they were part of the signing. Honestly, it was all a blur because I was just focused on signing as many posters as possible that I'm not even sure if they did the signings themselves. Now, this poster is actually super cool because it is themed around LEGO Masters, and it features all sorts of different Easter eggs from different parts of LEGO lore, from, of course, the LEGO Masters trophy, but also LEGO Castle. You can see the Lion Knights and the Black Falcons getting some representation there. There's a nod towards LEGO Pirates with the classic pirate and the monkey and the shark, as well as the classic Spaceman minifigure with a parrot and cannon. All sorts of nice references to vintage LEGO themes, and it almost kind of feels like almost like a 90th anniversary LEGO celebration, but obviously that was a couple years back, but it's a nice celebration of classic LEGO. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I actually heard from Jamie that this was not the only place where this poster was given out. It's a slightly different style to the other poster giveaways. It's actually a hardback poster, it's hard cardboard, it's actually feels a lot more well produced because this was actually made for LEGO Store giveaways, and Jamie said that he was able to give this out and sign it at a LEGO Store California giveaway just recently earlier in the week. So technically, this was not a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but given that it was only given away at California events in the same week as Comic-Con, I would imagine that they arranged the LEGO Store thing just because Jamie happened to be around and they had extras made for Comic-Con. Also, during this signing event, we had the chance to give out a ton of other LEGO Masters exclusive items, including a LEGO Masters patch which you could stick onto whatever outfit you're wearing, as well as two different types of LEGO Masters pens, a red and a yellow themed pen. However, there was one last item offered at this signing that is probably one of the rarest LEGO items ever given away at Comic-Con. And we'll get to that one at the end of this video, because I still have a few other items to cover. Now, in terms of the signed poster, I have seen copies sell for online for $200 to $300, which at least to me, is kind of crazy because it's literally just a piece of paper that I signed, as well as Crystal and Jamie. I mean, Jamie's signature is probably what's really making it special. I mean, I would pay that much to get Jamie's signature, absolutely. But no, it's really interesting, and it is selling for that price, so I'm sure that that is pretty much where the value is going to end up, because again, they did limit the line, they did have to cap the line, so only a very limited number were given away, and I did take a time lapse, so I'm pretty sure that it was around 50 to 60 in total that were made, just by looking at how many I think I signed. Moving on from that though, there is one other LEGO exclusive item to cover, and that is the LEGO Space Patch. This is a patch that you could get if you lined up at the LEGO booth and were given 5 minutes to build a spaceship. After building a spaceship, you had the chance to get a free patch that says LEGO Space Mission Crew. It's a really cool patch because I of course put it on the spacesuit that I was able to get from LEGO, and while this one was given out in very high quantities and probably is only around 30 to 40, maybe $50 tops on eBay, it's still really cool to see another LEGO exclusive item. But before we get to the exclusive minifigures, let's talk about one other way to get exclusive stuff. Here's the deal. LEGO had a special prize pack that they were giving away every single day, but only to 20 people, meaning that only 80 copies of this prize pack exist. The prize pack is comprised of mostly every single item that we just talked about today, alongside a couple of other exclusive items that I didn't even get to see myself personally. So the way this worked is that LEGO had a different sort of scavenger hunt survey that they ran every day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where only the first 20 people to fill out the scavenger hunt were able to win this prize pack. After the first 20 people filled out the survey, that was it, and anyone else who filled out the survey were entered into a sweepstakes to win a signed Jedi Bob Starfighter set, which I also just got signed by all of the cast and crew, so haha, I did not have to win the sweepstakes to get that. However, included in the prize pack, of which only 20 exist, was pretty much every item I have just discussed, alongside a LEGO Sonic poster, which was super interesting because I didn't even get to see what that looked like, as well as one copy of the exclusive LEGO Masters minifigure with white legs. More on that later. Also in this prize pack was an early release edition of the LEGO Fortnite Cuddle Team Leader, which thankfully was not an exclusive minifigure to Comic-Con. This basically was just a way to get it early before the LEGO Fortnite sets launch on October 1st. So nothing about the figure is exclusive, and it's pretty much just identical to the one that you normally get. While I never got a chance to win the prize pack myself, thankfully a fan of the channel came up to me and showed me some of the contents, and I got some footage of that minifigure in hand, which was super cool to be able to see, so thank you so much for doing that, and I really appreciate it. The only other item in the prize pack was a copy of the LEGO Marvel Avengers Mission Demolition poster. This is really strange, because this is technically not been announced yet. I've not seen anything online about it, nobody is talking about it, I don't think anyone really knows that this is even happening, but it's so bizarre because it's basically an unannounced LEGO Marvel special that they're advertising in the prize pack, which is super interesting to see. I'm not going to post about this too much online or draw too much attention to it because I'm also not 100% sure why this wasn't announced yet, especially if posters were given out, and I don't want to take the wind out of any Disney Plus announcement, but I did want to include it in this video just to make sure that we showcase the complete overview of everything that was given out. And thankfully, despite the fact that we didn't get a prize pack, I happened to see these posters lying around the LEGO booth, so I asked an employee if I could take one home, and they said sure, so I have no idea what exactly the stipulation was to get this, if there was even a way to get it outside of the prize pack. I'm just saying what I know about this one, which honestly isn't a lot. But now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the LEGO Masters exclusive minifigure. So, once more, exclusive figures return, and these were just very simple, white LEGO minifigure torsos with the LEGO Masters logo printed on them. The way to get this was very, very strange, and because of that, copies of this minifigure have already sold online for upwards of $1,000 to $2,000 US per figure. And here's why. At my LEGO Masters panel signing, we received copies of 55 LEGO Masters minifigures to be given out. I, in fact, did not even get a chance to get my hands on them. We were shown a bag that said quantity 55, and they were handed out by staff members of the booth after folks went through our whole signing line. So I didn't even get to hand them out myself. It was that tight. This minifigure set was mixed between figures that were white-legged, red-legged, and yellow-legged, which means that technically, if you want to go for the complete set, you do need to have 3 copies of the exclusive torso, one with white legs, one with red legs, and one with yellow legs, to have the complete set. Obviously, the torso is the only exclusive part of the figure, and the head is just plain white, but it is really cool because, one, it feels almost like a prototype minifigure. Many prototype figures in LEGO sets are just plain white with drawn-on details, so it's kind of a callback to that, and it also was a pretty ubiquitous one, which means you could use it for all sorts of different things. So 55, a mix of white, yellow, and red, were given out at the signing. And then, there was one minifigure with white legs included in every single prize pack, of which there were 20 per day. So that brings our total count to 135, 80 for the prize pack ones, and then 55 for the signings. However, I also have some additional information on my end as to how many I think were produced. Before I did this, I did ask the folks who produced it, because I do know all of them, how many they made, and they said they know, but they couldn't tell me, which is totally fair. They maybe didn't want that information exactly publicly out there. However, using context clues that I have just observed as an outside observer without having any additional information other than what was given to me, I think I've pieced together the exact amount. So 135 were given out to the public. However, I personally was given 5 to 6 copies of the minifigure, and I say 5 to 6 because I got a bag for myself and I got a bag for Robert, and they were in between 5 to 6, so around, let's say, 10 or 11 to me. I believe Crystal, who was also there, got around the same amount, so let's just say 10 or 11, and Jamie also got a similar amount, so 10 or 11. So that brings us to around 30 or 33 or so. So adding on those 33 extra minifigures, and I'm assuming that given that I'm sure that some of the producers got at least 1 or 2, as well as a few extra copies being made, I'm pretty sure that an educated guess for the total amount is probably around 170 to 180, and maybe at max 200, because I saw the Ziplocs that they were in, and I don't think there were more than 200 there. So because of this, that would mean that this is probably one of the most exclusive LEGO minifigures ever. Not even talking about Comic-Con, just LEGO minifigures. Sure, there's a desirability aspect to it, and not everybody is super into LEGO Masters, so I can see something like, say, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man minifigure, where there literally were thousands made, but it is such a desirable figure. That one obviously is going to be a lot more rare. But in terms of the sheer quantity of items out there, this might be one of the rarest LEGO items ever, which is pretty crazy. To my knowledge, and I was around the LEGO booth a lot, these were the only LEGO exclusive items given out to the public at Comic-Con. The badge that I got that said LEGO Mission Crew as a lanyard was a super cool exclusive item, but you could only get that if you were either a featured guest with LEGO or if you worked at the LEGO booth. So that was made in pretty limited quantities and definitely wasn't something made for the public. Overall, I hope this video was helpful for those folks trying to piece together exactly what was given away for LEGO at San Diego Comic-Con 2024, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And as one final note, I really wanted to document how the actual space outfit was made. Thankfully, this seems to be a third-party space outfit made by Natural Uniforms, and you can pause the video if you want to see all the information on the exact item number and how you can get one yourself for cosplay or Halloween costumes. The only exclusive things were, of course, the LEGO-themed patches attached to it, the Denmark and US flags, the LEGO logo, and of course, the LEGO Space Program, which is probably one of the most exclusive ones tied to this particular outfit. Otherwise, aside from the patch that was given away, there is nothing technically exclusive about the blue jumpsuit itself, so folks can recreate it themselves. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to stay tuned for not only a full vlog coming out of Comic-Con, but I also will be doing a video on every single LEGO San Diego Comic-Con minifigure and character exclusive over the many years I literally filmed them at Comic-Con. I brought all of the exclusives there, which is where some of the footage from earlier in this video came from, so stay tuned for that. And of course, stay tuned in general for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks, and bye for now.